Hello, YouTube. It's Barbara Jean. Um, I feel compelled to read some long passages from the book of Revelation. Um, I was watching this YouTube a couple of weeks ago. This man, young man, 24 years old, Sam Robson. He mostly does a cappella hymns. Wonderful singer, very talented musician. But anyway, he put out a cover of Michael Jackson's Earth Song a week or two ago, and I watched it several times, and I for some reason I cannot get this song out of my head. It just keeps playing over and over and over again. So I feel like the Lord is telling me to uh, put something out. I'm first of all, I'm going to read the lyrics to this song that he put out. Check him out. He's very, very talented. But like I said, I watched the video several times, but for some reason, this song will not leave me alone. I wake up with it. All day long I hear it. I just cannot get it out of my head. So I'm going to read the lyrics to this song. It's called Earth Song, Michael Jackson, and I'm going to read the lyrics here. It says, "What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things you said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, these weeping shores? What have we done to the world? Look what we've done. What about all the peace that you pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, these weeping shores? I used to dream. I used to dream. I used to glance beyond the stars. Now I don't know where we are, although I know we've drifted far. Hey, what about yesterday? What about the seas? The heavens are falling down. I can't even breathe. What about apathy? Drowning in the seas. What about the promised land? Preaching what I believe. What about the Holy Land? What about greed? Where did we go wrong? Someone tell me why. What about baby boy? What about the days? What about all their joys? Do we give a damn? That is the lyrics to the song Earth Song by Michael Jackson. And now I need to read some scripture. Um, and these are the woe passages in the book of Revelation. Woe to the earth. Revelation, these are long passages, so if you just rather read them yourself, I'm not a particularly good reader, so you might want to read them yourself. First of all, I'm going to read Revelation chapter 8. This is the seventh seal after the rapture of the church. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels who stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hands. And the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, and thunderings, and lightnings, and earthquakes. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there were followed hail with fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees were burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. The third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so that the third part of them was darkened. And the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of the heavens, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpets of the three angels which are yet to sound. Chapter 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Here we have an angel who is described as a star. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, as of the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they should neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion, when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. They had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and the power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and day and month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was a third part of men killed by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of their works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone, and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their theft. Then, chapter 10, we see the rainbow angel, and he gives the scroll to John to eat, and he tells John he's going to testify before peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Then we see the rebuilding of the temple in chapter 11. Then chapter 12, we have, I want to go to Revelation chapter 11. Let me just go back to Revelation 11, and I want to read 11 through 14. So the two witnesses are in the temple or near the temple in Jerusalem. They are killed after 2.5 years of testimony, or 3.5 years of testimony. 3.5 years, and they are killed, and then they rise up from the dead. This is verse 11 of chapter 11. And after these days, and after the Spirit of life from God entered into them, that's the two witnesses, they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the God of heaven. So some people are starting to wake up, get their senses back. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Now I want to go to Revelation chapter 12. And the woman in heaven gives birth, and Satan tries to destroy the child. And that is, start reading from chapter 12, starting at verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their life unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that his time is but short. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. And the woman were given, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for times and half a times. That's 3.5 years. From the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and he went to make war with the remnant of her seed, and to keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So there are going to be saints on the earth during the time of the Laodicean church. There are 3 woes as a result of the fornication, adultery, the greed, the corruption that are going to be coming upon the earth. 3 great woes. The first woe, let me just go back to it again, are the great earthquakes, the fire that's coming down, the hail and fire, the hail, the fire, the earthquakes, the wormwood, plagues that will kill 1/3 of everything on the earth. The second woe is after the 2 witnesses are killed, and there's a great earthquake, and many will become afraid. They will come to their senses at that time. Then the third woe is when Satan is cast down to the earth after the woman in heaven gives birth. So I just felt I needed to read those for some reason. And I felt it really had a lot to do with that song that I can't seem to get out of my head. So there it is, and I will talk to you later. God bless.